You know, I'm sick, I can't sleep. Fuck it, let's see what new material may have surfaced in the sea of YouTube videos. The fuck is this? How is it that I always seem to find the worst ones when I'm sick? Ugh!
Look, Sigma, Gandhi's getting impatient about your debt.
Dude, I don't even play Civilizations.
Hey, don't shoot the messenger. It ain't my fault he's got nukes on my ass.
You sure you're not just trying to get me to pay one of your debts? Again?
No, not this time. Apparently it has something to do with Evangelion. Or was it Orin High School Host Club? Look, the guy was drunk when he called me.
Oh, fuck me in the...
Ugh!
The fuck are you doing back on?
Can't fucking sleep!
Ooh, that's bad.
No, you don't understand.
What happened?
This!
Uh,
Just watch it.
That's it! I don't even care that I never really made commentaries. And I know I haven't made a video in years, but I want in.
Sounds good. What about you, Ifrit?
Thank you, Mordring.
Sorry.
Anyway.
Yeah, I think I'll set this one out. Who knows, maybe I'll probably make a commentary on a recent video.
Hey, go for it, man.
Of course I want to be able to do this properly, meaning I have to wait until this fucking sinus infection goes away. Ugh, why do I have to find this stuff when I'm sick?
Oh, don't worry, I can wait. Now go on. Go use the sleep, you little turnip. Go on. Go tuck yourself into bed. Sorry.
So nice to actually talk normally again.
Hey, glad to hear you're better. Now, let's verbally tear this bitch to shreds, shall we?
You don't have to ask me twice.
Okay, I have just left HEB today, and I just have to take a minute because...
Is it because somebody needs to come to Jesus? Oh, I'm sorry. I know that's a bit of a leap to make under normal circumstances, just because she's a middle-aged southern type. But after seeing enough of this guy, it's kind of become my knee-jerk reaction to people vlogging in the car. Also, very dangerous. If you do it, kindly reevaluate your life and your concept of vehicle safety.
The fact that we're less than 10 seconds into the video and already finding problems should tell you something. First of all, that pause. I get the feeling I'll be speeding up this video just to work my way around the long pauses. Second of all, I know Sigma brought this up already, but I want to be the one to verify his remark. This woman is recording this video while driving. You can see the trees and stuff moving in the background. Jesus Christ, lady, I don't think your rant video is worth putting pedestrians and fellow drivers in danger.
I just walked into the grocery store when this woman came in with this really cute little red-headed child. And I just thought she was as cute as all could be. Well, I'm in the produce section just starting to make my way through the maze, and this child starts screaming. I'm talking the blood-curdling, veins popping. It was bizarre. And I thought, okay, Mom's going to get that under control. No. This woman commenced to going all through the grocery store, opening every single fucking item she could get her hands on to give that child.
I can admit that people in public places who don't seem to do anything to curb their children's tantrums can be annoying, but you really can't help that sort of thing. Also, how do you know whether or not there was anything the child's mother could do to stop it? There are special needs children out there, such as children with moderate to severe autism, with which you can't just simply discipline the child in a typical manner. Then again, if you took that into consideration, we wouldn't be here right now.
I mean, there was string cheese on the floor, Cheetos everywhere, and this child never stopped screaming.
Having worked in retail, and very specifically in a supermarket, I can tell you that I see this sort of thing all the time. And frankly, despite hating kids, I kind of understand why they do that. Small children don't have any real concept of delayed gratification. If they're hungry, they want food now. If they're bored, they want to play now. If they feel like not enough people are paying attention to them, they'll do everything in their power to change that immediately. It's part of why I'll never have kids, but that's just how they are. And at that young an age, the easiest thing to do to shut them up is to try and placate them. Give them whatever food you have on hand, rush to the nearest diaper change station, distract them with something shiny, whatever. The problem is figuring out what it is they want, when the only way for them to communicate is via screaming. I've had to put up with children screaming and crying all the way through the store, all the way through my checkout line, and straight out the door, and that's in spite of their parents' attempts to calm them down. Far be it from me to hold it against them. Unlike some people.
By the time I got to the deli counter, I stopped. And I just said a small prayer.
Called it.
Please, Jesus, let there be something wrong with that child that makes it do that. Because if not, I would like to know why that woman hasn't beaten the fuck out of that kid yet.
Jesus, lady. Alright, first and foremost, let me just address referring to the kid as an it. You already know the kid's gender, going by what you said at the very beginning of the video, so I can only assume calling her it is meant to dehumanize the poor kid because, oh no, she mildly irritated you. Second, are you for real? Beating the fuck out of... Kid's crying, man! You know what happens when you hit a crying child? They cry more! All you're doing at this point is compounding a bad situation and giving everyone in earshot a good excuse to call Child Protective Services.
Continuing from Sigma's point, maybe it might also have something to do with the fact that corporal punishment is looked down upon in many places at best, and outright illegal in some places at worst. Let's ignore the possibility that the child is a special needs child for a moment. There are states, and even other countries, that have outlawed corporal punishment in schools and other public places, and have even gone so far as to make corporal punishment in the home illegal. Here's a map showing state-by-state legality of corporal punishment in schools. I think it's safe to assume that this also extends to legality of corporal punishment in other public places as well. Yes, it's legal in all 50 states in the home. And yes, corporal punishment in schools is legal in Texas, but has it ever occurred to you that maybe this woman is from a state that has different laws regarding corporal punishment, or has different views on corporal punishment in general? Let's not forget that there is a sharp divide between public opinion on spanking and scientific evidence that shows that spanking your children to discipline them simply doesn't work. There are plenty of scientific studies that show that spanking your children can cause more harm than good. Namely, that spanking only causes the children to become more anxious instead of calming them down, that parents who spank are teaching their children that it's okay to resort to violence to get something done, and by extension, that spanking only works as a temporary measure and can cause the children to become more aggressive in the long term. And let's not forget another important detail. It sounds less like you're supporting corporal punishment and more like you're advocating physical abuse of a child.
I mean, never stopped screaming. There has got to be an emotional issue going on here, a birth defect. Fuck, I don't know. But I know I just had to take a minute and pray to the baby Jesus, because I'm telling you, I almost walked that woman over to the wooden spoons and showed her how to get that shit under control.
Praying to God and Jesus that the child has special needs so you don't have to beat the kid yourself, instead of praying that the mother gets the help she needs and someone else to help her look after her child. How very Christian of you.
Oh, now you've gone and done it. Birth defect, eh? Wooden spoons, eh? Keep it under control. Fuck you, lady! You just acknowledged that the poor kid could very well have had some sort of neurological disorder that was causing her some kind of emotional distress, and in spite of that, the first place your mind goes is corporal punishment with a wooden motherfucking spoon! Regardless of whether or not your state allows corporal punishment in a public place, there are multiple restrictions on the types of implements that you can use. It varies from state to state, but the general tendency is towards disallowing anything that could cause any actual damage. For example, a long-handled wooden spoon, which happens to be particularly good at bruising skin and breaking small bones like the carpals and metacarpals. And if you have to ask why I know that, let's just say you don't want to know.
You count to 3. On 3, pick your fucking weapon and end the drama, end the torture.
Never mind the fact that the child needs to and will learn the proper way to react if something doesn't go their way. You gotta beat the fuck out of that kid because the child's tantrum is such a strain on you. Yet another instance of implications that you support child abuse.
By the time I got to the checkout, I was stuttering. I mean, I could hardly function. I had to take some Advil, open the box like some kind of crackhead in the grocery store. And the woman checking me out says that child does it every weekend. There are 2 answers to this. Kill it, give it away, or leave it at home.
You know, maybe this is just me being pedantic, but you just gave 3 options, not 2. Not that you've got much of a leg to stand on with the first one, anyway. It's, nothing much, just a bit of a logistical issue in that killing people is illegal! As for the other two options, giving away a child is a long, difficult process full of bureaucratic nonsense that ultimately tends to take a pretty bad emotional toll on both parent and child, and seems a bit of an extreme reaction to the high crime of mildly irritating an old woman in a supermarket. Leaving it at home isn't an option if you're a single mother or the child's primary caretaker, especially if you can't afford a babysitter. These days, most of us can't. Bit of a weak job market, you know? Ah, no, of course you don't. You haven't had an honest day's work since the Vietnam War.
I want to take the time to repeat that last clip, because it is so fucking mind-blowing that it bears repeating.
There are two answers to this. Kill it, give it away, or leave it at home.
I had to play it again to show that, yes, she really just said that. I did not alter her words in any way, shape, or form. That was all her. First of all, like Sigma said, you said 3 things. Gotta love unscripted, emotionally charged rant videos, am I right? Second of all, did you really just throw out kill the child as a legitimate option for if your child has special needs and has outbursts that can't be dealt with normally as a result? That bit, and the other things you threw out right there, are what made me decide to make a commentary on this. Because I don't care that you were emotionally charged when you said this. What you said there was absolutely fucking disgusting. This just shows to me how ignorant you are of special needs, how ignorant you seem to be of raising children in general, and just how fucking narrow-minded you are that you simply throw out kill it, give it away, or leave it at home as choices on how to deal with a child throwing tantrums in a public place. It's obviously never occurred to you that this mother might be a single mother or a mother whose spouse may have been at work, a mother who for some reason or another was not able to find a babysitter to watch her child while she went to get groceries. You don't know her situation, you don't know the scope of the problems this child has, much less those of the mother. You have absolutely no right to judge that woman. You have no right to ride the fucking high horse you're riding right now. And you present yourself as an upstanding Christian woman. Fuck off.
If it's got a problem, leave it at home. But I swear to God, I asked the woman checking me out, do any of her groceries make it into the bag to go home? Because they were all over the fucking floor of the grocery store. I just really have to pray that there's something wrong with that child. I take it in for an MRI, something.
Okay, now you've got me pissed. You don't just go wishing mental illness on someone just because they caused you a minor inconvenience. The problem isn't them having developmental issues. The problem is people like you. People who think they're entitled to go through life completely oblivious to other people's problems, who think they can get away with having no compassion or empathy at all, and that any problems they have automatically override anyone else's. I've had to deal with people like you all my fucking life, and far too many of them came through my line at work. Have some fucking respect.
I mean, I hate grocery shopping on a good day, but to listen to a blood-curdling scream, and this child was 2 or 3, so I'm thinking there ain't nothing wrong with that child. Just needs to be beat.
Okay, this solidifies to me the level of your ignorance when it comes to special needs children and the neurological and developmental disorders of special needs children. I'm kind of getting into personal stuff here, but it's relevant. I have a family member with severe autism. Said family member was diagnosed before his 3rd birthday. Many autism cases are diagnosed very early, so there you fucking go.
Oh, God. Don't go to HEB today. The fucking gorillas are out.
Comparing a toddler that may very well have some sort of developmental disorder to a fucking gorilla, and implying that children with developmental disorders are little more than animals. How very Christian of you.
The gorillas are out. Funny. Looks to me like the gorilla just left.
Unfortunately for us, we have 2 videos left to look at. I'm gonna need a fucking drink after this.
Oh, me and my vow of temperance.
Ah, God, it's like a dog whistle. Lady, if you can't figure out how to record without getting background audio interference, I'm gonna have to take your camera away. Or spank you. And believe me, I really don't want to spank you.
Shitty built-in mic audio quality. Boy, does that bring back memories.
Okay, everybody. Apparently, I need to discuss my rant from Sunday.
Oh, thanks, Sagan. She's apologizing. You know, you gotta love it when the internet finds something like this and shows someone the error of their ways.
I don't know really what the fuck you want me to say.
Or she could just get confused about the error of her ways.
You don't know what we want you to say? Acknowledgement of your ignorance and how you overstepped your bounds would be nice, but who am I kidding? If we got that, we wouldn't be commentating on your videos.
I did not realize that it would get 600 plus views. I didn't realize it was going to go public.
Despite uploading your video both on Facebook and on YouTube, public social media sites. If your videos were set to unlisted or private on YouTube, I wouldn't have found them. Not sure about your Facebook profile, but I can only assume that said profile is public. When you set that kind of shit to public, of course people you don't know are going to find it, and when you say stuff like the disgusting bullshit you said in your last video, of course people are going to be up in arms over it.
Didn't realize it was gonna... Have you never used the YouTubes before? Oh my god. Okay, anyone in favor of starting mandatory internet etiquette classes for the elderly, say aye.
I'm not sorry for anything I said.
If you're not apologizing, then why the fuck did you call this an apology video? That just means that the title of your video is a lie. You claim to be a Christian woman, so I expect to see you at church on Sunday to confess your sin of breaking the 8th commandment. Yeah, I went there.
I realize I probably shouldn't get on Facebook and put it out there publicly, but I've tried like writing in journals and shit, and it just makes me snap a pencil.
Let's ignore that tsunami of possible jokes that remark could make. You know that you can make video journals and not post those videos on Facebook or YouTube, right? Or hell, you could type that kind of stuff out in a Word document on your computer. You have a Facebook account and a YouTube account, so I can only assume that you have at least rudimentary level typing skills.
This is so much more relieving to one's person when you have been out in public and something just pisses you off. And I have found lately that children piss me off, and what makes me even more angry are their parents.
Like you're the best mother in the world? Given your demeanor in your videos thus far, I can only feel pity for your kids. And I say that because she actually does mention her children later.
Word of advice. If children and parents piss you off, you have two options. Kill them, go to therapy, or stay at home.
I think we need to spend a little less time thinking about, who cares about gay marriage and whether or not marijuana should be legal? Let's take back America by training these children not to be tree huggers.
First of all, who cares about gay marriage and whether or not marijuana should be legal? Oh yeah, never mind the fact that gay people and others in the queer community are subjects of discrimination for something that's beyond their control, and that alcohol has caused more deaths, direct and indirect, than marijuana ever has. Second of all, let's take back America? Take it back to when? The 1950s? Because what you're saying sounds a lot like, well, back in my day bullshit. And finally, what the fuck does gay marriage, pot legalization, and environmentalism have to do with raising kids?
Oh, good. She wants to get political. Well, Sunshine, since you decided to invoke the holy trifecta of anti-liberal bullfuckery, allow socialist Jesus to shine his egalitarian light into your...
Sigma, Nash doesn't even know who we are.
Shit!
That everything's a yes. Yes, 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 yes. Just give it to them all.
You do realize that there are methods of punishment in showing that the child did something bad that don't involve corporal punishment in any way, right? Time out, standing in the corner, taking a toy away. There are methods that don't involve violence in any way, shape, or form, and you know what? They work! Which is more than could be said about using corporal punishment on your kids.
You know, we as parents, you look fucking stupid. I didn't, because my kids didn't do that kind of shit out in public. I'll beat the crap out of somebody. And I know it's not popular to beat the crap out of your children. I'm not saying to go kill them.
Well, but that's exactly what you said in the last video. Barry, play the clip.
There are two answers to this. Kill it, give it away, or leave it at home. Kill it, give it away, or leave it at home. Kill it.
How did you do that?
Magic.
But I'm saying you need to make them afraid. Be afraid. I mean, my children always knew there was a very good possibility that Mama was going to snap and we were going to make the fucking news.
Kids being afraid of their mother because she could snap at any moment to cause harm to the point that almost everyone in town would find out about it? Yeah, that totally doesn't sound like a toxic home environment where the parent was abusing the children. And now everyone watching knows why I said I pity her children earlier.
It's called being respectful. With fear comes respect.
No. Fear does not breed respect. Not in any way. Do you think people who lived under Vlad the Impaler respected him? Do you think people looked up to Idi Amin? Do people consider Kim Jong-un an admirable person? No.
Fear is the path to the dark side. Fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate. Hate leads to suffering.
I'm thinking about maybe doing a blog on some parenting tips, because there's a lot of you out there that are fucking stupid.
You know, I could make a video explaining how the high and mighty, holier-than-thou, pathetic excuse for a Christian woman is really just an ignorant, bigoted cunt because she still hasn't learned her fucking lesson.
The only thing I would like to say tonight is that take that timeout chair and put it back at the dining room table. And let's teach little Strawberry Shortcake how to sit and eat like a normal person and go from there. I mean, that's a good starting place as far as I'm concerned.
Well, of course you'd think an excellent place to start would be at the dining room table. And before anyone gets on me for that comment, she brings up her own weight in a separate video, which has already been covered by the fantastic son of Everett. And I, too, am a complete fat ass, and thus reserve the right to make fat jokes. Frashing internet with their disclaimers and their trigger warnings and their loud music.
I'm bad, come on, really bad. You know I'm bad, you know it's really bad. You know I'm bad, come on, you know. Don't you call me pudgy, portly, or stout, just to tell me once again who's fat.
And then maybe we can get these HEB moments under control. Maybe we can work towards you raising a person who thinks, instead of some kind of disrespectful animal who's gonna wanna, plant trees, save the earth, and recycle.
Hey, the gorillas kick ass! Yeah, I know, wrong gorillas and wrong kind of animal, but I have to do something to distract myself from the fact that she really is comparing those kids to animals again.
There's a waste of fucking time.
You know what's really a waste of time? This.
The 30 some odd friends requests that I got, I don't know you. I don't want to know you. I don't really care how you stand on my opinions. They're my opinions. That's why I'm not going to make you my friends, because the only people on my Facebook page are the people that know how I feel about things in general.
Seeing as you've been pretty clear about your feelings about things in general, I don't see why you're so hesitant to add these 30-some-odd people. Then again, seeing as you've been pretty clear about your feelings about things in general, I'm surprised those 30-some-odd people even want to be your friends. Go figure.
So, anyway, I hope you guys have a great day. Look forward to talking to you later. Let's see if we can't get these kids back in order and get these parents' heads out of their asses.
Fuck you, lady. I'm raising my kids on violence, caffeine, and rock and roll.
I thought you said you didn't want any kids.
Oh. Right. Well, guess I'll just have to settle for corrupting the minds of other people's kids.
Oh, we are such evil heathens. Well, let's see if the third time's the charm. Spoilers, it isn't.
Oh, goody.
Oh good, none of that annoying static like in the last video, so at least there's one thing that this video improved upon. And that's the only compliment this video's getting.
Okay, here is another video. I'm homesick today, so I hope you can excuse the scratchy voice.
Oh, that's no problem. I know how that is. I've done commentaries and videos with colds and stuff before, and let's not forget my update video where I had that sinus infection.
Oh, sure, no problem. We'll just call it Karmic Retribution for the last two videos. So, what's this about?
I am here to say that I am wholeheartedly sorry that the community of autistic children are in such an uproar.
Oh, come on!
It had nothing to do with autistic children. And it had everything to do with the fact that there are children out there whose parents do not pay attention to what they're doing.
Okay, no. You made this about autistic children when you actively wished mental illness upon someone. Because Lord knows that's the only reason you could fathom a child would be crying in a goddamn supermarket.
Not to mention that, of course, the autistic community would be in an uproar when you showed how ignorant you are of autism and other developmental disorders and promoted corporal punishment to children, even if those children may have a disorder. Again, you said that there was probably nothing wrong with that kid at the grocery store since she was so young, when, like I said earlier on in this commentary, autism can be diagnosed as early as 2 years old.
I understand your struggles having a disabled child. I really do. I see it every day. For those, I am deeply sorry.
And then you pull out that underhanded little gem. Look, don't be sorry for parents raising an autistic kid. An autistic child is not a burden, not to the people raising him or her. And don't you fucking dare so much as imply that's the case, because fuck knows we get more than enough of that bullshit already.
This had nothing to do with you.
You see, it had nothing to do with them when you hoped that there was still something wrong with that child because she was throwing a tantrum at the grocery store, and even after saying that, you still said you wanted to go over to that child and beat her with a wooden spoon, implying that even if the child really did have some sort of developmental disorder, that you would still beat the kid, illustrating your ignorance of the subject yet again.
This was a moment of agitation and anger, because these are the same people that will come up to me and say, look at the kids today. They have no respect.
The only person I see saying that is you. Tell me, if you think everyone saying that is a hypocrite, then what's that say about your parenting?
Yet, here's your child who has nothing wrong with him, and he is tearing up the store.
Again, you don't know the parent, nor do you know the child. How the fuck do you know that there was nothing wrong with the child?
I was really surprised to see such a large group of people from the disabilities and then the autism. It has nothing to do with autism. And autism is not totally invisible.
Oh, is that so? Tell me. Take a good look and tell me. Do you think I'm autistic? I am. People always get surprised when I say that. Oh, I'm sorry. Am I not flapping my hands enough to your liking? Is my speech not significantly impeded? Am I not having enough public emotional breakdowns? Some of us are high-functioning. You wouldn't even know it if we didn't tell you. Don't come to me with this not entirely invisible bullshit.
When you see a child acting up, 9 times out of 10, you can tell there's something a little off.
Which is why you still wanted to go over and teach the mother how to get that shit under control, right?
So to sit there and to say that I did not consider that is just incorrect.
Oh, we know you considered that. Hell, you did more than considered it. You wished it was fucking true. Frankly, you'd have been better off had the idea not crossed your withering, desiccated mind. We also know that you dismissed the idea. Why? Because you're a hateful person. You want an excuse to blame everyone else for everything that goes wrong in your day, even though you are the one who's making a big deal out of a very normal occurrence. I don't know where you got it in your head that your warped perception of the world is objective reality, but if you'd kindly take that high horse of yours and swan dive right the fuck off it, the world might be a marginally less shitty place.
I never, ever said the child was autistic or hoped it was autistic.
Wait, are you fucking serious right now? You may not have brought up autism specifically, but you still wish something was wrong with that kid.
I stopped, and I just said a small prayer. Please, Jesus, let there be something wrong with that child that makes it do that.
God, I knew you were sick, but I didn't think it was affecting your memory in any way.
There are a lot of people out there who don't have children, or who have children who have grown up and gone on, that deserve to go out in public and not have other children throwing themselves on the floor, screaming at their parents, and they are not disabled.
You know, I am one of those people with no kids. And I don't make a secret over how much I don't like them, but I'm not about to begrudge a kid for throwing a fit in the aisles, or screaming in a restaurant, or generally being a nuisance. And I'm sure as hell not gonna blame the parents for it. Because for all I know, one of them might well be autistic like me. And I've been in those shoes. I've had emotional breakdowns in public places before. We don't process emotional feedback or sensory input the way other people do. And sometimes it gets to be too fucking much for us to handle. That's all part of the disorder, and no amount of parenting is going to change that.
I don't know how much more of an apology you want. That's pretty much all I have to give.
I'd tell you to own up to your shit and admit your ignorance, but I've given up on that quite some time ago.
That was not an apology. That was you trying to shift the blame like the conniving, abusive, ignorant fuckwit you are. I honestly feel sorry for anyone who has to put up with you on a regular basis, because you go waddling around like your shit don't stink. Don't you go talking down to me, all, I don't know what else to tell you. You know damn well what you should say, but you haven't got the balls for it. And you know what? I love that. It means I can rip apart every single thing about you and feel no fucking remorse for it.
I am sorry if you took this personally. It was not geared toward any one group, except the parents that don't parent.
You might want to get your eyes checked because you still have some strong tunnel vision there, lady.
This is a real life problem that we have in society that needs to be addressed, that has nothing to do with disabilities. If you guys would take as much energy as you've poured into coming after me, into your disability, then maybe you'd get some things accomplished.
How dare you? How fucking dare you come onto a public forum and tell people with neurological disabilities that? As if it's our fault that we're the way we are. As if we could just work it all away. I've lived almost 22 years of my life with autism as of this recording. I've learned, often in the hardest, most painful ways possible, how to cope with it, how to function properly in society. I still suffer from hypersensitivity. I still get panic attacks. I still have trouble processing and expressing how I feel in certain situations. And I still have to put up with people like you. People who have never lived with mental illness, and hopefully never will, remaining willfully ignorant of what I have to deal with, just so they can go ahead and blame everything on me. Because I didn't work at it hard enough. Because somehow, if I just focus and think positive, all my autism's gonna melt away. Fuck you. Fuck you for making it that much harder for me to just exist. Fuck you.
But wasting your time coming after me achieves nothing. Achieves absolutely nothing, because it had nothing to do with you.
No, but it has a lot to do with your ignorance of them and how you still refuse to learn anything from that.
But we do have a right to say parenting has got a problem in this country.
Yes, you do in fact have that right. You have the right to say whatever pops into your weak, sick, osteoporotic little head. Just remember that freedom of speech does not equal freedom from criticism. Just as you have the right to say whatever you want, we have the right to call you out on your bullshit using any language we please. That's how the First Amendment works. If you don't like it, then kindly fuck off to Russia where your kind is accepted.
As far as driving and doing the video, I was in the parking lot.
Objection! Barry, can we get a silent replay on that first video? Thank you. Now, you claim you were in the parking lot. But if we take a closer look at the background through your car's windows, well, it's obvious. The car is clearly in motion. Even if you were in a parking lot at the time, operating a moving vehicle while using a handheld media device is highly illegal. Honestly, your honesty up to this point has been shaky at best, but you keep finding new ways to lower the bar. I'm impressed.
You know what? I couldn't have said it better myself. Wait a minute, what the fuck?
Trying to think of everybody else's complaints.
Given how many complaints you got, good fucking luck with that.
I just really think it's sad that you all have jumped on a bandwagon. And it's the wrong bandwagon.
An exercise in futility this may be, because let's face it, if you haven't learned anything from this, then there is no hope for you. However, this kind of thing can be used as a learning experience for others, to show people what not to do when you get negative backlash to a video. This'll show how not to act in any sort of rant video. This'll show that letting your emotions get the best of you will more than likely bite you in the ass. Hell, I've seen firsthand how getting emotionally charged can really hurt your video. My first commentary on an interview of E.L. James is prime proof of that. But you know what? I learned from the experience. I made another commentary on E.L. James, which many people view as being vastly better than the first one. And hell, Rhino's commentary on me led to me becoming friends with him and several other commentators, and my learning from the experience led to me improving my commentaries and becoming a member of the Bunch of Pseudo-Intellectuals commentary group. Not that I've joined any of them for a commentary on the Bob channel yet, but hey, all in due time. Granted, that slip-up may be minor, especially when compared to what she did, but there was still a negative response to that which I managed to learn something from. My point is, I want others to learn, both from my videos and other videos, minor and major poorly executed rants and other videos, to learn what not to do in this kind of situation.
The only people who have rights anymore or the people like you. I apparently don't have any rights anymore. I can no longer say what I feel.
Oh, wow. Poor babies can't take all the verbal abuse people are hurling at them for speaking their toxic, socially unacceptable opinions. Newsflash. You have rights. Your ideas don't.
But I am truly sorry that you feel so offended.
And in the span of less than 20 seconds, she showed how insincere her apology really is. This went from a somewhat sympathetic response video to a thinly disguised rant about how she apparently can't say anything anymore without getting her head bitten off. I've already said how I have no hope for this woman, because if she hasn't learned her lesson by now, she's never going to learn anything from this. This isn't even worth giving any sort of final thoughts. I am done. Sigma, you have the floor.
You know what? I'm sorry too. I'm sorry you're an ableist, irritable, hateful old piece of shit who doesn't understand a goddamn thing about mental health. I'm sorry you're so ignorant as to automatically assume you know what's wrong with a child just by looking at them. But more than anything, I'm sorry I can't be there to personally ram my size 12 up your ass! Get bent, lady!